Melvin, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm
Awesome.
so thankful that you guys invited me to Nutanix Next. It's a wonderful experience.
I am so glad that you are here. So I'm talking with Melvin Greer. You are a chief data scientist at Intel, correct?
That's right.
And you were telling me earlier that you are a fellow at a 3-letter agency. Am I allowed to say the agency?
Sure. I'm a special government employee at
the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Correct? At the FBI.
Fascinating. Tell me just a little bit about that, about what you do there, how your job at Intel and what you do at Intel plays into what you do there.
The federal government is determined to use artificial intelligence. I think if you think about the last 4 administrations, each of them have put out an executive order focused on AI, including this one. And so they're looking for talent that allows them to take full advantage of these advanced tools for things like espionage, national security, cyber defense. And so I'm privileged to participate as a special government employee to help the federal government, and specifically the Department of Justice and the FBI, meet their mission using these AI tools.
Excellent. That's fascinating. So let's stay in that same topic. I'm a customer that's looking to implement AI in my organization. What are the first 3 things that I need to do before I go down that path?
You know, that is such an important question, because in spite of the fact that we have all of this attention on AI and all of this investment going into AI and all of this conversation about data science, people don't know where to start.
Yeah.
It's really a hard thing to do because there's so many competing interests. But we have been able to narrow down 3 basic things that need to be done. First, establish strategic intent. Why do I want to do AI? Today, many people are, influenced by their stakeholders' pressure or their stockholders' pressure, and they read many of the competition's journals.
Sure.
I've got to do this. So we really encourage folks to think, what's the business rationale for this? What am I trying to achieve? Because everything can't be solved by AI.
Right.
And so we need to find out why. And number 2, spend a significant amount of focus on your data. There's some consulting organizations that say that only 17% of an enterprise data is actually usable by that enterprise to solve or influence their AI projects. So what that means is the vast majority of enterprise data is either not tagged, not classified, not secure, not relevant, not easy to share. And so I would always encourage a data strategy be done in advance of an AI strategy so that we can get that right first.
Sure.
It's just blocking and tackling. And then lastly, I would encourage a focus on ethical and responsible use of AI. Intel has been hiring ethicists, sociologists, anthropologists, people who are not technical, to understand what it means to have empathy, or what does it mean to be ethical, so that we are in the best position to ensure that the products and capabilities that we create are being used for good and not for some unintended consequences.
That's excellent. It's great to hear that Intel is doing that. Yeah. So we're here at .next. Nutanix is a hybrid multi-cloud platform. We've been partnered with Intel now for 15 years.
Isn't that great?
Amazing. Tell me why the hybrid multi-cloud platform is positioned in a way that serves AI workloads.
That's a good question, and let me tell you why that's so important. Number 1, hybrid multi-cloud is a dominant cloud adopting model. It is the hybrid cloud that fuses all of the best things about regular cloud computing, like flexibility, security, standard security, the ability to modulate up and down usage and costs, with a fit for purpose around the data that's going to be in that environment. And so Intel and Nutanix are working very hard, and I would say successfully, on ensuring that hybrid multi-cloud is a critical option The enterprise AI in a box capability that we've developed is a good example of that.
Yeah.
It allows our customers to take full advantage of the easy button
Sure.
and create this kind of architecture that allows them to take full advantage of the benefits of hybrid cloud and accelerate their ability to adopt AI.
Excellent. Thank you for that answer. Tell me a little bit about, and I'm not even sure I know the difference, between an LLM and an SLM. I know what an LLM is, but you introduced a new term to me. I assume I think I know what it means, but let's tell the listeners a little bit more. What's the difference? What's the importance of an LLM and an SLM?
Sure. What we are seeing today is a significant interest in the largest language models. So we're looking at foundational model companies that are acquiring larger and larger and larger data sets to effectively train their models in a way that helps them be more effective, less hallucinatory, and better positioned to answer a wide variety of questions that might be in the marketplace. It does have some very important upsides, but it does also have some downsides.
Okay.
And one of those downsides is the focus on the larger models requires a high amount of cost. And so, in many ways, by having the largest language model available, it eliminates some of the best parts of a AI infrastructure that a customer might want to take advantage of.
Okay.
So what we're introducing, and what we've introduced, and not just us, but the industry, is the concept of small language models. Small language models, unlike the billion-dollar accounts, would be like the $100,000 accounts. These have much smaller amounts of data, but highly relevant. Much smaller amounts of data, but more capable of answering very specific questions. And smaller amounts of data, but more capable of taking advantage of lower cost, more highly available infrastructure.
Okay.
So when we think about Nutanix and Intel working together, if we think about a use case might be one in retail, where we now have a Nutanix capability that's married to an Intel small language model architecture that the customer is bringing right inside the store, so that instead of having to know everything that's going on in the company in sales, that store can now take full advantage of its own data, manage it, analyze it, use it to increase sales, increase customer growth, without having to have huge infrastructure in the store and answer questions about every other store that's out there. And so, small language models have some really, really important benefits. One, the cost hurdle is lower. We are now able to use our own data inside a customer's environment instead of a large language model that is outside our control. And I think it can't be overstated how important that is. Using our own data means that it never leaves our control.
Right.
It's more secure, and it's highly relevant to what we're trying to do. And then, of course, the last thing is it allows us to decentralize the development of AI in a way that it accelerates the adoption in a growth pattern that's really focused on our business model. So, small language models have a very important place. We're not going to see the end of large language models, but small language models offer customers great benefits that Nutanix and Intel are taking full advantage of.
Excellent. Thank you for explaining that.
No problem.
Last question. You've been here today. We made a lot of announcements. There's a lot of buzz in the air. Tell me what you've heard today. What do you think is next for Intel and Nutanix based on what's going on here at .next 2025?
Yeah, I think our alignment in software as a primary entry point for AI is something that we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to work together to ensure that our customers don't think of us as just some hardware enabler to AI, but as a real positive influence on the developer community and their ability to move AI from ideation to production. And so I think that's something I'm extremely excited about. Nutanix is an engineering company focused on innovation. And guess what our new CEO is focused on? Turning Intel into an engineering company focused on innovation. So we have a natural alignment there. But one of the things that I took away from this event more than anything else is the enthusiasm for getting this kind of capability to our customers.
Yes.
I've heard over and over again that customers are the entry point to everything that we do, and that absolutely aligns with what Intel is doing. And so the enthusiasm for that is making me really, really, really excited.
Yeah, we're super excited as well, Melvin. Thank you so much for joining me on stage today. We're really excited about the future that Intel and Nutanix have together, and I look forward to continuing these conversations.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.